got to fight this guy. Oh, you got injured in camp. You lose to that guy too. Now you're set back when you could have been a champion.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of like weirdness going on with possibilities and, you know, just luck, bad luck, and good luck.
Bad luck and good luck. Timing, I think, is a big thing.
How is something like this allowed to happen? How is Jake Paul allowed to fight Gervonta Davis? It's
I don't know.
Completely unfair. It is completely just. I can't say the word that I want to say because I don't want to get canceled.
And then going out there and taking on a guy that is maybe 92 pounds heavier, that is at least 65 pounds heavier than you. That is called one thing. That's called being a bully.
Joe Rogan harshly criticized Jake Paul for arranging a fight with Gervonta Davis despite their major size difference. He stressed that weight classes exist to ensure fighter safety, and ignoring them puts lives at risk. Rogan argued Jake seems more focused on hype and promotion than fairness or respect for boxing. With Jake's bigger frame and power, Rogan warned the fight could be dangerous and completely unnecessary.
But no time limit within the weight class.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
That would be that'd be pretty wild.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy.
Because you know, like two guys are facing off each other, like, and they know, like, there's no rescue every 5 minutes.
Yeah. And you go into it knowing you're either getting knocked down or submitted, or you're doing that to the other person.
Michael Bisping has voiced serious concern over Jake Paul's decision to fight Gervonta Davis, despite their extreme weight difference. He noted that Jake is preparing to face an opponent nearly 100 pounds lighter, which violates the fundamental balance boxing depends on. Bisping recalled that Jake's proposed fight with 58-year-old, long-retired Mike Tyson already raised questions about fairness and legitimacy. Now, this matchup with Tank Davis, he argues, only deepens the controversy, appearing more like Jake seeking personal advantage than pursuing genuine competition. Bisping emphasized that boxing's integrity relies on evenly matched contests, yet this fight seems overwhelmingly tilted in Jake's favor. In his view, it risks not only Tank's safety, but also damages the spirit of fair play that keeps the sport respected and
That's called being a bully. It was bad enough when he fought Mike Tyson, a man that was 58 years old, and he was walking around like, I just beat the baddest man on the planet. I just destroyed Mike Tyson and went out there and I beat him, and him and his brother are all celebrating and shit like that. It's like, dude, what are you doing? What don't you understand about this? If you want respect from your peers, if you want everyone on the planet to look at you and take you seriously and give you credit as a boxer, you have to take on challenges that are real. You have to go up against someone that keeps you up at night, against someone that gets you out of bed in the morning to go for a run because the fear of them beating you down is real. Not going up against someone that is so small. If you were to go up to this guy in a bar and try and start a fight with them, people would look at you and say one word, whoa, stop being such a bully. Leave him alone. You are way bigger than this guy. And that's clearly what we have here. It is ridiculous. When you look at the tail of the tape, Gervonta Tank Davis, granted, a very, very skilled boxer, a world champion. He's had some great wins. He's had a tremendous career. He's got 28 knockouts on his record. I'm just looking at the tail of the tape here. 30 years old, Jake Paul, 28. Gervonta Davis is 5'5" tall, whereas Jake Paul is 6'1". I would never dream on picking on a guy that is 5'5" tall. Granted, there's some tough guys out there that are 5'5", okay? They're smaller guys, but for 5'5", they'll pack a good punch. Typically, they're mixed martial artists or boxers, yeah.
Teddy Atlas reacted to the face-off between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, emphasizing the massive size difference between them. He joked that Tank is so small compared to Jake that he'd need a ladder just to reach his chin. Atlas acknowledged that differences in skill and style are part of boxing, but insisted this size gap is far beyond reason. In his view, Tank is simply too undersized to compete effectively, making the matchup appear completely mismatched from the very start.
Things, right? They should also have like the size of the ring, the size of the glove, all that stuff. Particulars should be in the contract, but I would probably look for one thing that is not the common thing to have in a contract if I'm Tank. A ladder. A ladder. Can I get a ladder? Somebody? You know what I mean? Hey, look, if he hits him on the chin the way he can punch, Jake might be doing a dance. You know what I mean? Not voluntarily either. But we'll get into that more later. The thing that I'm talking about right here is what you said. It was stark. The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo, but you know, a little different. The size difference was, I mean, it was eye-catching, jaw-dropping, and it made me think. And I'm going to ask Richie, our man here who's doing all the taping, who does such a marvelous job. I'm going to ask him because I know he's an expert in this area. But it reminded me of one of the Rocky movies where they had the face, where they did the wrestling thing with Rocky and Hulk Hogan, a.k.a. Thunderlips. He was Thunderlips back there.
Joe Rogan argued that Jake Paul's recent actions are driven more by promotion than genuine competition. He explained that such fights are designed to attract casual fans and generate curiosity through unusual matchups rather than fair contests. Rogan noted that the betting hype and media buzz surrounding these events focus on headlines, not sporting merit. In his view, Jake has mastered the art of staying in the spotlight, using boxing as a marketing platform, even when the matchups lack real sense or competitive
That's a problem. That makes it a problem. My opinion is, I just want to say, in case someone calls me into court, I'm a fucking idiot and I don't know nothing. And don't take my advice.
I love the Saudis.
Don't take my opinion.
I love the Israeli government. I love everybody.
That had nothing to do with them. That was Jake Paul promoting it. You know, it's just doesn't bother me.
There's compromising the sport, and that's like bad. It's just like
if I bet on it,
watching
it
it
bothers
is
the fuck out
hard.
of me.
Watching it with people who are so in on it, and then also man, the sports betting apps, they introduced like chat apps in them in Australia. So it's like they're trying to take the place of social media companies where you go together and you meet your friends. Like betting should be exciting enough without having a weird.
They're just trying to draw you in.
Thing.
They're just trying to make money, right? So they're trying to draw you in any way they can.
Leonard Ellaby explained that Gervonta "Tank" Davis wasn't in the right mental state to face Lamont Roach. He revealed that Tank was dealing with several personal challenges and didn't want to add more stress by taking another fight. According to Ellaby, this lack of motivation is what stopped the matchup, despite fans' expectations. He added that Tank was more focused on handling his personal life than chasing another victory, and stepping away from Roach helped him avoid unnecessary pressure and distraction.
Leonard Ellaby said, to tell you the truth, Gervonta Davis couldn't get up for Lamont Roach. And what does that mean? It means that he could not get inspired, that he was not motivated to fight Lamont Roach, that his mind was not in a place where it was like, yeah, okay, let's get it. And he was going to war with Lamont Roach. He was going through the motions with Lamont Roach during the training camp and could never really get himself motivated to really give the best of himself against Lamont Roach. And that probably affected him during training and during the fight. And that is something that can happen, especially if you really look back on what happened with the Lamont Roach fight and all of the ups and downs about that fight being made. Because first, if you recall, he wasn't supposed to be fighting Lamont Roach. The person he was supposed to be fighting was Vasily Lomachenko. You know, the guy that everybody says that he doesn't want to fight, that he didn't want to fight. Gervonta Davis was up and prepared to fight Vasily Lomachenko. So it shouldn't surprise anybody that if he tries to make a fight with Vasily Lomachenko, that fight doesn't go through. Then he tries to make a fight with Lamont Roach. He can't get the fight done for Houston with Lamont Roach because there was all kind of venue problems and drama going on around Gervonta getting a venue in Houston. So they wind up eventually moving the fight to New York City and pushing it back even further. So not only is it a fight where he didn't just jump out of from his last fight that he had and jump into a fight with Lamont Roach, he got held up. And then also during that period of time, he had to spend some time in jail for a parole violation after the, well, I believe that might have been after the Lamont Roach fight.
Reports suggest that Gervonta "Tank" Davis is planning to retire after his upcoming fight with Jake Paul. According to insiders, this decision is motivated less by a desire to build his legacy or chase more titles, and more by the chance to secure long-term financial stability. Many observers believe Tank accepted the bout mainly for his massive guaranteed payday rather than competitive ambition or career growth. Analysts emphasize that Tank has faced intense personal and professional pressures in recent months, which may have influenced his decision to take a high-profile yet unconventional fight. Seen in this context, the matchup with Jake Paul appears to be a strategic business move, one aimed at maximizing his earnings and ensuring his financial future before officially walking away from the sport that defined his career.
What you make? Like, let's go band for band on what you making. Again, there's nothing wrong with Tank going to get his money, but let's all be clear that that's all the fight is for Tank. He's telling you without telling you that he's fighting Jake just because he's getting $40 million. So when we talk about boxing being dead, Tank has to line up at the front of the line. I can't blame him, but don't throw around, oh, boxing's dead and people switch sides and all of that. You chose not to be great. That's it. You chose not to be great. Stuff like that, choices like that will kill boxing. For sure. On a competitive level, it won't kill it on a business level. On a business level, until people run out of interest in these kind of matchups, it'll do well. On a competitive level, choosing not to fight the best will kill the sport. So maybe it's better if people like Tank aren't in the sport. And I don't even say that because I want that to be the case. I think Tank is ridiculously talented, but you can't want a fighter to fight more than what they want to. You can't. Tank fans or Tank people that like Tank and think he's one of the best, you can't want it for him. And then Shakur came back with, that's how I know you soft. I can't even go back and forth with you soft ass. You rather pop to me on social media than get in that fire and get embarrassed. I get it. Peace and blessings upon you, cuz. He says, the people got your chest out so bad. You talking like you a killer, forgetting that you the one that runs, bitch. I'll be bring the fight to you. This dude, a made-up character. Quote, blessings upon you. Clown-ass dude, wanna be Kevin Gates? Oh my goodness. I mean, here's the thing though. You can't say that stuff about Shakur if you're not willing to fight him. This is the point I think that we're going to come to today, is that Tank can say all this stuff he wants, but if you're not willing to fight Shakur, then none of it means anything anymore. Even if you believe that Tank is going to knock him out, even if you believe that Shakur's a runner, or that he's not in the trenches, or he's not a boxer that's willing to bring the fight, or whatever, none of it matters. You're talking from the sideline because you won't fight.
Daniel Cormier expressed disbelief over how the fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis was even organized, calling the entire setup flawed from the start. He recalled the press conference where Tank appeared unsure about the weight class, which to him was a serious red flag in a sport built around strict divisions to protect fighters. Cormier argued that this lack of structure and transparency highlights how unorthodox and potentially reckless the arrangement truly is. He emphasized a massive size difference between Jake and Tank, stressing that Jake is simply far too big for the matchup to be fair or safe. According to Cormier, the disparity stretches well beyond boxing's accepted limits and raises serious questions about how such a fight could receive official approval. He warned that the contest risks not only fairness, but also the physical safety of the smaller fighter. Ultimately, Cormier believes this bout reflects poorly on the sport's standards and exposes a growing danger prioritizing spectacle and profit over legitimate, competitive.
Jake Paul. Yesterday they had their first press conference. One of the most recognizable things is Jake Paul is huge compared to Gervonta Davis. And two, Gervonta Davis don't even know what weight they fighting, D.
Maximum weight of 195 pounds for this exhibition. The fight will be contested over 10 3-minute rounds.
I said it was 190.
The fight is 195 pounds, Tank, as you know.
DC, I watched this, and we have our priorities way misplaced when we're talking about boxing. Like, everybody's complaining about this Ali act and all. Like, how is something like this allowed to happen? How is Jake Paul allowed to fight Gervonta Davis? It's completely unfair. It is completely just, it's, I can't say the word that I want to say because I don't want to get canceled, but this fight should not be happening. And the press conference was embarrassing. Gervonta Davis should not have a mic in front of him. It was absolutely embarrassing watching this thing.
D, why, D?
Just the fact that, like, every time when Jake Paul would say something to Gervonta Davis, he didn't know how to answer it. He was comparing himself to like P. Diddy at moments, and I was like, oh my God, get a mic away from this guy. This fight shouldn't be happening. And then he didn't even know what weight they were fighting. He's like, I thought it was 190, 195.
That was the craziest thing. That was the thing that stood out to me the most, was that when they go, the rehydration limit or something is 195. And he goes, wait, I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad.
Gervonta Davis reflected on his career, admitting that his original goal was never to become a boxing champion. Instead, he viewed boxing as a way to escape hardship and build a better life. For Davis, the sport was a means to achieve financial security and stability, not fame or legacy. His focus has always been on creating a safer, more stable future for himself, which helps explain the motivations behind his current choices and career decisions.
And why he's fighting YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul, who has 12 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 7 wins by way of knockout, opposed to fighting against the likes of his peers who are well accomplished and superstars in their own right for legacy fights like Shakur Stevenson, like Teofimo Lopez, like Devin Haney. Why he's not interested in those fights. And he gets real, right? He gets real, and only thing we could do is salute it, right? Because he's saying, I never told y'all I wanted to be a world champion. I never told y'all I wanted to be undisputed. I got into this for myself and my circumstances to escape from my circumstances. And that's real. We can't blame him for that. We hold him in high regard because the statements he's made and misled people when he said he got a hit list that he wants to check off before he retires, and that hit list includes Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Lomachenko, who turned down the fight because of a severe back injury. And then he told the world, he told Champside, it would be great for him to become undisputed. So I think that he had a change of heart at some point in time along the way, right?
Showbiz the Adult praised Jake Paul for using his platform to draw massive attention to boxing, crediting him for boosting the sport's visibility and engaging casual fans through strong promotion and creative marketing. He acknowledged that Jake's ability to attract viewers and spark conversation is undeniable, helping expand boxing's audience to new levels. However, Showbiz also highlighted the ongoing criticism surrounding Jake's career choices. Many fans argue that Jake often selects opponents who are undersized, retired, or not true competitors at his level, raising questions about the legitimacy and competitive nature of his boxing journey.
Boxing is going to sing his praises like a hero. Though Jake Paul is definitely appreciated by the boxing world when it comes to what he is giving to the sport, especially women's boxing, okay? I mean, it goes without saying that Jake Paul, an MVP, has added to the sport of boxing. But Jake Paul, the fighter, people are over his shit. There's a huge amount of boxing pugilists in the boxing community who's over his shit. And if Gervonta Tank Davis stops that, if he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out the sport. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition.
This situation has frustrated fans who value boxing's tradition of fair, balanced competition. Showbiz noted that the criticism surrounding Jake Paul has sparked debate over whether he's helping or harming the sport's image. He suggested that if Gervonta Davis defeats Jake convincingly, it could mark the end of the trend of mismatched fights. Such a victory would not only boost Tank's reputation, but also earn him respect as a hero who helped preserve the integrity and true spirit of boxing.
Optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
Help you up. We're going to help you up. We're going to see about it. Help you up. We're going to see.
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment, will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars. that you guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive. Think about it.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates from the world of boxing. Until next time, peace.